let's take a quick tour of the Zotero desktop interface. We'll move from left to right. On the left-hand side, you have your collections. This is basically the organization of all of your sources that you've put into Zotero. Currently, I have my library selected, so the center section is showing everything in my library. But if I choose one of these collections, I can narrow it down to that specific grouping of sources. On the bottom left, you have tags. So these tags have been added to the articles. And if I click on one of these tags, it will show me only the articles that have that tag. In the center section, we have the actual sources. It shows you title, creator, year, and publication. These titles here are also how you sort your view of the sources. So if I were to click on the title bar, now everything is sorted alphabetically by title. If I click on it again, now it's reverse alphabetical. If you want to add any headers here with more data, there's a tiny little button here on the right of the center that has some more options. So if you wanted to list the date that you added the material so that you knew how recent it was, that might be a good one to add. Above the list of sources, you have your navigation toolbar. So this little green plus sign button will add a new item to your library. This button is called the magic wand because it looks like a magician's wand, and this is another way to add items to Zotero. This is a button for adding notes, this is a button for adding attachments, and this button will open up the advanced search. This is where you can get really fancy with searching your library. If you just need a simple basic search, this search box right here searches all fields, so all the data on your sources and any tags. On the right-hand side, this section is for details about a source. So whenever you click on a source in the center, it pulls up the details of that source here. This is all of what we call the bibliographic data, the sort of stuff that goes into a citation, plus even more information. If you have notes or want to add notes, you can do that by clicking notes. Same with tags. And then you can also make it so that articles are related, and if you do that, they will show up here. The other important thing is that, there's another menu up here. The options will look different if you're on a Windows rather than a Mac, but there are times when you'll want to use this navigation menu as well. Last but not least, over here on the right-hand side, you have the sync button. If you have been adding things to Zotero and maybe you've been going back and forth between the web version, the desktop version, different devices, if you notice things aren't up to date, just hit the sync button here and it should show the most updated version of your Zotero library in the desktop app. And that's the basics of the interface. Everything that I've mentioned here, for the most part, we're going to get into more detail later on in the workshop.